Hello, everybody. It is Jackie from Pocket of Preschool, and we are talking all about, if you can't guess, a Groundhog theme or Groundhog Day theme for your classroom. So real quick, before I forget, the links to all the things are where the links are. So there's links to my Groundhog Center packet, which I'm going to show you some of that in a minute, and also all kinds of other activities you can do in your classroom for Groundhog Day. There's links to the blog, which has a giant book list with all of my favorite Groundhog's Day books, and a fun freebie, which these little puppets are one of them. So make sure you go grab all the things. And then also any manipulatives I use, those are linked up there too. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started. So for Groundhog Day, a lot of us, I would say, maybe just do it a couple days. Tell me if you do it for a couple days, one day, if you do it for a week. Tell me in the comments below how long you do your Groundhog theme for, or if you kind of do it one day during maybe a spring theme. Tell me all the things in the comments. Okay, so Groundhog books. So there's some. One of my favorites is this one. It's a Scholastic book. It's 10 grouchy groundhogs. So I love, for counting books, I love making little puppets so students can come up and you can count as you read. So the freebie, which is linked in the Groundhog blog post, there's 10. So you make 10 little puppets, and they're grumpy groundhogs. And I just taped it to the back of a popsicle stick. I didn't even laminate these. But basically you give these out to the kids as you read, and they can come up and you can count and add and subtract as you go. But this one is really, it's super cute. I love this Groundhog book. And then you can also put it in a center in a little basket, so you can have it in a library center for them to retell over and over again, sneaking in a lot of the math. So that's one book you can do. This is a really great nonfiction one. And then don't forget, you can also read books about shadows and hibernation. The Night Before Groundhog's Day is another fun one. And then again, all of the really fun shadow books. Groundhog's Runaway Shadow, another good one. There's another grumpy groundhog. Go to sleep groundhog. Again, I have a giant list on the blog for you with all the books. So you have all the books. And usually what you do at circle time, or usually what I do, is we predict, is the groundhog going to see his shadow? Yes or no? So in my centers pack, I have this graph. Again, if you don't have the printable pack, you can just use Post-it notes to make your graph. And basically, will he see his shadow? And then these people voted no, and these people voted yes. And you can compare, is he going to see a shadow? Yes or no? And then you'll have to wait and see, and you'll have to find out, look on the internet and see if he saw his shadow or not. And then also, I gotta find it. You know, I have stuff surrounding me. If you want, after you do the class graph, you can give each student their own graph, and they can either color with markers and go around and ask their friend, kind of a survey. And again, this is great to put in their portfolio in the math section. Because they're taking data, they're going around asking their friend, do you think the groundhog is going to see his shadow, yes or no? Or if that's too much to manage, 2 markers and a clipboard, what you can do is have your kiddos each have a clipboard at circle, and as each kid puts one up, you can have them fill it in on their graph, or they can put an X here too and just use one color. Up to you. You pick your classroom. And then if you want to use it as a center activity, there is a little spinner you can put on here. So you can use it as a spinner, or it can just be an option, whatever you want to do. I made it that way so you can do it how you want. And they spin it. Will the groundhog see a shadow? Yes. And then they put one on. And will he see a shadow? No. And they will put one on. So you can do the graph a couple different ways. And if you're just starting to work on graphing, do this one. Have students do the survey and walk around with the survey, and then they can do it during centers or small group or arrival time, whatever. One thing I will say, whenever I had my kiddos do surveys, they're never accurate. right? And as kiddos walk around, all the kiddos who say yes or no, they're gonna change their mind like every 5 minutes. So it's kind of cracks me up, right? I think it's pretty funny when the kids walk around and they're like, will you see a shadow? Yes. And they tell the next kid, no, I don't think he's going to. It's so funny. So now let's talk manipulatives. So what can we do to make learning fun in the classroom for Groundhog Day? So I have these Groundhog mini erasers. I did find some on Amazon. These are from a Kinder Crate a couple years ago, but I have them Groundhog mini erasers linked where the links are. So if you want to grab those, also grab any black gems you have, or green gems, or yellow gems, or blue gems. Those will work great for counting. If you have black beans, those will work great. Any small pebbles. All of these, all the pebbles and then the gems, those are all from the Dollar Tree. If you have any weather mini erasers, these would be great. Obviously, probably not the rainbows, but, and then don't forget to grab all your flashlights for things. And then if you don't have a lot of flashlights, you can also use puck lights because they will make things have shadows as well. So whatever kind of light you have. And then don't forget, grab the colored mini erasers to match the learning theme. So I just have like white, green, blue, yellow, and brown. And then don't forget about if you have any clothespins to match. Maybe you have some like black ones, whatever. Brown ones, like natural colored would work great too. So those are some manipulatives you can use for math, sensory, Play-Doh. Speaking of Play-Doh, I made a Play-Doh tray for the Groundhog theme. This one was kind of tricky for me to think of, but I did it. So I grabbed some cups of Play-Doh, and sometimes they get mixed up, sometimes they don't. It is what it is. Or you can make one big batch of like brown Play-Doh, whatever you want to do, or whatever you have time for. Grab some Play-Doh. And then I grabbed these weather cookie cutters, and I linked these. They're actually a really cute little set. I think it was like 12 bucks. But I grabbed like the sun and the clouds. It came with like 12 cookie cutters, a lot. But I grabbed the sun and the clouds for the groundhog. And then I grabbed some of these gems. I just grabbed, again, blues, white, and yellow. We have some tools. And then I grabbed some green and some black so they can make the grass, and then they can make the shadow with that. I didn't have any groundhog cookie cutters, so these were I grabbed the weather ones because I can use them for other themes. Sometimes it's hard to buy things for every single theme that you can only use once. So grab the weather ones and those will work. So that is your Play-Doh tray. And the tray is just from, it's like a chip and dip tray just from the Dollar Tree. Also, if you haven't done a Play-Doh tray, try one. They're so much fun. They're great for problem solving, manipulating, like manipulating with like their little fingers, fine motor, like problem solving, social skills, because they have to share the materials, they have to ask, and they talk to each other. So it's also great for vocabulary. So lots and lots of great things happen during Play-Doh trays. So they build and then they put it away. And once your students get the hang of a Play-Doh tray, they will get played with all the time. Like Play-Doh trays were always played with almost every single day in my classroom. And I think that's, besides the sensory table, I think that's the only thing I can say that was ever played with every single day in my classroom. So speaking of sensory tables, I got one for you. So this is obviously a mini version of what you would have in your classroom. But these are just chickpeas. And I have some natural colored ones. Some natural colored ones. And then I dyed some light blue, yellow, and white. Just acrylic paint, chickpeas in a bag, shake, shake, shake. Lay them out to dry, and you are good to go. And super simple. And it's one of my favorite, these are one of my favorite sensory colors. And then I added some pom-poms. So we got like suns and clouds, and I have some white ones. And then I do have pom-poms that are big and small. This set of pom-poms is from a pack I got at Walmart. Because I like to have different sizes so we can notice that things are different sizes. We have like a small, medium, and large pom-pom. We have really itty bitty ones, really fun. I added some black gems because those are kind of like shadows. And then I have some small, medium, and large spoons, measuring spoons. And then, I have some Groundhog mini erasers in here. I don't have a ton of them, but probably like maybe 20, 15, because I want to use these all over the classroom, so they can't all go in the sensory table. So we have those, and then I have some measuring cups, but my favorite thing is, since groundhogs make burrows, what students can do is they can grab, so they can scoop them up, and then they can try and put them down the tube. So it's not exactly like a burrow, but so they can basically like make them go through the tubes, and then they have to problem solve which tool works better. And then they also, if you can hear it, like that makes a different sound than this one. Which one comes out faster, which one comes out slower. You could also put like a black bowl in here, so that way they could kind of like catch it, which would be really fun. And then maybe they're just gonna put the pom-poms down. Oops, I missed. So they're just gonna have a ton of fun manipulating and exploring. And again, it's just chickpeas. And my favorite place to buy chickpeas is at Target. I wanna say like 6 months ago when I bought some, they were like $1 a bag. I don't know what they are up to now, but so fun. So make a groundhog sensory bin. Okay, let me get rid of that. Speaking of sensory, I also brought out my weather sensory bottles. So these I had out, I made another year. I think I made these like 4 years ago now. And look, they're still doing great. This one is snowy, so I have like some chunky glitter and some pom-poms. And then this one's cloudy, and it's just cotton balls and blue water. And then this one is sunny, because I have a big sparkly pom-pom in there for the sun. So you can talk about which weather is happening, if the groundhog sees a shadow, what's gonna happen, if we're gonna get more, or if we're gonna get spring, or if we're gonna have more winter. So these are fun. If you wanna know the directions to how to make these, and I have them actually for all the weather. I think these are like my most favorite set of sensory bottles I've ever made, but I would probably just use these for this theme, but these are the other ones that tell you how to make it. So you can make all of them, and then you can get them out for different things. This one's hail. It's just got gems in it, so it's really fun. It's a really fun way to bring the weather into your classroom, since you can't really go outside and bring in the rain or the clouds or the sun. So super, super fun. And then they're also great to have in the Science Center the rest of the year. Okay, now let's move on to hold on. Let's do some fine motor first. Oh, I have another freebie I want to show you. So on the blog, I have these groundhog tracing maps. Sorry, I have lights back there to make sure it's bright, because it's nighttime where I am. So grab some dry erase markers. The thin ones are better for their pencil grasp. I don't know why I just thought of using the thin ones lately. Like I say all the time, thin markers are better, but I never put 2 and 2 together that you can use thin dry erase markers. It just happens, right? So they can trace all of the different paths. This one has shapes. This one is tricky, so they'll have to trace all the different squiggles. This one has just different types of lines. This one has some curves. And then lines going that way. So again, these are free on the blog, and just grab some dry erase markers, and they can trace, 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 and then erase, erase, erase. So grab that. Then this is a fun fine motor freebie. It's just a lacing activity. So students are going to grab, I just have my beads in there. This little container is from the dollar store. So I just grab a bead, and all they're gonna do is lace it on, which is great for hand-eye coordination. Lacing is great for so many things. You can use just a pipe cleaner, and I literally just taped it on the back. And they're also sorting by color as they lace up the different groundhogs. And my kinder teachers, this is a great activity to do, kind of to warm up their hands, warm up their fingers when they walk in the door. Preschool, we do these kind of things all the time. But I know kindergarten, you guys do a little bit more academic stuff during like your centers and things. But this is a great fine motor center, or kind of beginning of the day or right before you do some writing to come and warm up those fingers. So that is a fine motor fun for you. And then here is a fun craft. So again, it's a craft. So this is a cutting activity. It is not art. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna cut out the head and they're gonna cut on the lines to snip the grass. And then they can like crunch it a little bit. And then you can have your groundhog sticking up out of the grass. And then also don't forget to add those loop scissors out. So that way if their hand gets tired or if they need some extra support cutting, these bounce back open and they are great. So that way everybody can be successful even if they have weaker fine motor muscles. Because we'll get there, we just need a little extra support sometimes. So here's a fun craft to do for cutting. And then art, this one's really fun. So I literally took one of the groundhogs from the like tracing. I took one of these, I cut it out and I made myself a little pattern. And what you can do is grab some chalk and then you tape it on. And then they color around it and it kind of makes a little shadow. Now you can also do this with white paint. Chalk's really fun. So you can do chalk too, do whichever one you want, but it's a really fun activity. Also, just black paper and chalk is really, really fun to do for art for groundhogs because they are just exploring light and shadows, and chalk and black paper is a great open-ended art activity. This one's really fun too. Maybe they'll color the whole paper, maybe they'll just color a little bit around it. But again, I cut these out and then they color around it to make a shadow. So a really fun, super simple art activity. Oh, there's my eraser for something. Okay. So, oh, another sensory idea I have for you. So if you want to do some shadow writing, so grab like a black tray. You can also laminate black paper and you can use shaving cream on it. And then all they're gonna do, of course I get a ton, is you can draw shapes. Everybody draw a circle. Erase, erase, erase. Everybody draw a square. Erase, 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 erase. Everybody draw, make the letter A. Line down, line across. Erase, 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 erase. Maybe they're just going to explore. Maybe you're doing this for small group and you're gonna, maybe with your pre-K or your kinder friends, you're gonna say, I'm gonna say a sound and I want you to write it in the shaving cream. T. Make your T. Uppercase, lowercase, whatever you wanna do. But since, you know, we're halfway through the school year, it would be really fun and a little bit more challenging rather than just calling out a letter to give them a sound and then they have to try and write it. Now, if you have threes, we are just making different types of lines, we're trying to make those different types of like, probably mostly uppercase letters because those are the easier ones to write. But it's just a really fun and different way to do shaving cream because sometimes shaving cream gets boring for kiddos. So you can say it's groundhog shadow writing and then you can just write and trace all on it. And you can also just use black paper and shaving cream. That works too. If you don't have black trays, I think I got it in my hair. Oh, and don't forget, you can also do types of lines. You can say, make a zigzag, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Erase, erase, erase. Make bumps, bump, 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 bump. You don't always have to do lines and shapes and things. So, you can do some shadow writing. Uh-oh, my ring came off. Hold on. Okay. There's that one. Now, maybe you're like, I don't want to deal with shaving cream. No worries, I got you. You can just grab some black salt or the Dollar Tree typically has black sand in like the floral section. Grab a big tray. And again, you can make shapes. You can make different types of lines. If the kids don't like that bumpy feeling, give them a pom-pom and they can hold on to the pom-pom and they can make a letter, make a type of line, whatever they want to do. They can make their name. You can also use vocabulary words give everybody, when they come in the morning, like have a sand tray out for each person and a sleep, and they can work on making different vocabulary words in the tray. This is the uppercase set. My word cards comes with an uppercase set and a lowercase set. So you can make a fun little sand tray if you don't want to do shaving cream, or maybe one day you do shaving cream and another day you do a sand tray. Totally up to you what you want to do. Okay. You ready for a butcher paper activity? So this one I took a photograph of earlier, but so I kind of already did it. So what you're gonna do is grab any like letter manipulative you have. I should have probably put them up. And then you're gonna, like, I have these like letter blocks from Learning Resources. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna put the letters out. Now you can use your flashlight and shine. Oh, of course that one doesn't work. There we go. You can shine it on it. Now you can't really see the shadow of the letter that well, but you can still put them out and you can make the shadow of each letter, and then they can grab a marker and then they can make that shadow. And then P, and then H, and they can make the H. And a bunch of kids can do this because you don't have to have like just one little friend doing it at a time. Like maybe you have, and again, you can just have all the letters out everywhere. So that's kind of how I had it set up. If you don't have these letters, use magnet letters, and you can just put it out. And maybe it's like, so it would be flat. So it's still gonna make a shadow. So they're still exploring shadows. It's just not gonna make the letters well, but that's okay. Use what you got in your classroom. You don't have to go out and buy anything new just to do an activity. So use magnet letters, use like if you have any like letter blocks, use those. Maybe you have letter stamps and they're kind of like see-through, so maybe that would be fun. But yeah, so you can do letter shadows. Now you could also do this if you have shape manipulatives, shape or letter manipulatives, number manipulatives. Now, if you don't want the kiddos to write, grab any white letter manipulative you have and they can kind of like match it up. So they will find a letter N, or maybe they grab the letter N and then they try and find it. N, I found it. And they put it on there. So you can match manipulatives, or you can have them write it. Whatever you're kind of working on. Maybe you're working on matching uppercase and lowercase. Maybe you're working on writing letters. Pick it, make this activity work and support the students and what they need in your classroom. Throw that over there. So the next activity is so fun. Put that up here. So this one is feed the groundhog. So I have some suns letters, and then I have some cloud letters. So we have clouds and suns. And then what they can do is they can literally just pick a letter, but that's not very fun. So I put paper clips on there so that way they're magnetic, so they can match the letters. So they could go G, find both G's, and then they could feed the groundhog. And I just have it on like a plastic bowl. Or maybe they just pick one up. Maybe they pick a whole bunch up and they go B, B, O, I, I. Maybe they're just gonna feed them one at a time. Or maybe if you teach kindergarten, you're gonna work on sight words and they can say the sight word, build it, and then feed it to the groundhog. There's also a worksheet with it if you want them to find it, say it, feed the groundhog, and then write it. Again, up to you. You do the activity how best you see fit with your kiddos. So that one is a really fun game. Anytime that you do a feed me game in the classroom, I feel like it's always a hit. And anytime you add a magnet, it's just like even more fun. So another game in the groundhog unit are these letter mats. So there's 2 levels. So we have the letters, so they can match just the letters, and just put out any magnet letters you have. So maybe they're gonna match just the letters. Okay, or maybe you want to do sounds. So these are the shadows. So maybe they are going to match the sounds instead of the letters. Maybe you're going to put out both. Students will usually naturally pick the one that best fits them, that they can be successful with. Also, if a student has trouble seeing that one, I did put the color animal in the bottom. So we can match letters or we can match sounds. And then this one is a super simple letter match, but it has, the letters have different fonts. So they're going to pick a card and then they're gonna cover up the one that matches. And they have different fonts, which is really fun. And because guess what? All the letters, when they see them out in the world, they're not always gonna be this perfect preschool or kindergarten writing way, right? None of these are too crazy of a font, but they're a little bit different. So that way they'll start to recognize the letters when the font's a little bit off. Like that's a lowercase a, but the font's not exactly preschool perfect or kindergarten perfect, right? And I just, again, used black gems. You can use blue gems. You can use rocks. Use whatever manipulative you have that your students like to make it fun. So the last literacy activity I'm going to show you, this one is a syllable, shadow syllables. So they're going to identify the object and then they're going to count the syllables. Star, star, one. Umbrella, umbrella. Obviously they would probably clap, but holding the tray for you guys. 3, and then they count it and they stack it. Flower, 2. I had some of these counted for you guys. Pretzel, 1, 2, pretzel, 2. So they are gonna stack and make all of the different shadows, and we're exploring all of the different sounds and parts in words. That's really fun. All right, math. Or I have my writing center set up, so I'll show you that at the very end. So this is a butcher paper activity you can do that you can make it small or big. I made it small so it can fit on the video for you guys. Hold on, I gotta reach all of my math stack. Okay, I got it. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna draw a sun and a cloud in marker. And then you have 2 options. You can put out this basket, and I have stickers and manipulatives because maybe some kids love stickers and they just wanna put the stickers on. Maybe they're not big sticker people. Maybe they wanna do manipulatives and they can match the manipulatives. They can put it in the middle, they can trace it, whatever they want to do. I love giving kiddos choice sometimes with kind of how to do the activity. Now, you can do it color matching. You can't really see the sun. So you can do it, here, I'll put it up here. There we go. You can do it as a color matching activity, or you can add some dice, and if they roll the yellow dice, 3, 1, 2, 3, they would put it on the sun. Maybe they roll the blue dice, 2. Maybe they're gonna put it on the cloud. So whichever one they want, they're counting, practicing that one-to-one correspondence. We're working on fine motor by using stickers and small manipulatives. And we are counting objects on the dice. So we're working on counting and stopping at the last number we count. So like we roll 3, 1, 2, 3, and they stop. Instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like they keep going, because that is part of, that's a skill that kiddos have to have, right? They have to stop on the last number they counted. So again, you can make this big, you can make this small. It's totally up to you. You could have you could have a sun on one page, a cloud on another page, and then again, have out different manipulatives just for some choice, and also that way you don't run out of stickers, right? So that is a fun one-to-one correspondence and color sorting activity. So for this one, we are working on writing our numbers. So I have these number cards, and they have to identify the number and then write it. And then if they can't identify the number, they can count and see what the number is. So I also have out some little pom-poms, so that way if they want to build the number instead of writing it with the dry erase, they can pick what they want to do. They can also like count in like on the groundhogs. They can count out that many with the manipulatives. I usually kind of let the kiddos do what they want. If they want to, again, use manipulatives, they can use manipulatives. You can also put out Play-Doh if your students love Play-Doh or Wiki sticks, those like wax sticks to make the numbers. Use what they love to get them learning and writing and doing all the things. So, but you guys, how cute are these little groundhog cards? So cute. My laminator messed up. I kind of ate that one a little bit, but it's okay. So, a fun counting activity. And then we have a fun 10-frame counting activity. So again, use the manipulative. That activity did also come with a number trace too. I forgot to tell you. So this one, they grab a 10-frame card and then they count out how many. Now, you can put out a couple different bowls of manipulatives. These little bowls are just from the Dollar Tree. They come in like a stack of 3 and they identify the number and then they count out that many. Again, it's also up here so that way they can start supertizing or they can count out the number if they don't recognize it. And then like this one's 5. And maybe they love rocks and they can put the rocks on. Don't forget, you can also always add tweezers out with all of these activities, anything with counters. That way they have to grab them. These little hand ones are my favorite counters, and I think kiddos love them too. So fun. Again, we are just making learning fun and exciting so they don't get bored and have behaviors, because if you're bored, you gotta find something to do, right? Okay. So I have this is a cookie sheet from the Dollar Tree, and I wrote numbers on it, like that. So again, put out whatever manipulatives you like, and they can put out that many. Now, because I have this one, I also made these really cool number puzzles. So they basically get the numbers all mixed up, and then they have to put the puzzles in order. So 7, 8, 9, 10. And then again, the picture kind of helps them. So if they're struggling to figure out which number is which, the picture will help them put it in number order. Or they can just look at the numbers and ignore the picture. I have up to 10, and then I have another one that works on teen numbers. And if your students are frustrated because this is moving around, put some magnets on the back, because these fit perfect on a cookie sheet. So you could have out these puzzles, and then you can also put out these little, another cookie sheet with the number on it, which is really fun. You can also make another one of these with your teen numbers as well. So, and I just drew on this with like a Sharpie. Nothing fancy. And then I have one more puzzle because the clip art was super cute for this one. So we have some number puzzles. Oh, I can't see it. So we have tallies. Uh-oh, where's the middle? So we have a 10 frame in the middle. Oh, there it is. I see it. I do have some of these pre-done for you guys, so that way you don't have to watch me find all the numbers. And it does go up to 20. So again, you can pick which numbers. You can do this in a pocket chart. You can do this in a tray. You can, again, have it set up however you want so your students can be successful. Maybe you're just gonna put them out in the middle of the table and do it for a small group. Or you can have it in a pocket chart and have the first part of the puzzle already in there, and they have to match the other ones, but we're matching 10 frames and tallies, which is really fun. And again, it goes up to 20. So do numbers 1 to 7. Do numbers, I don't know, maybe 4 to 15. Maybe you want to do just the teen numbers. Up to you, but it's a really fun little puzzle activity to do. All right, so, okay. I don't know why I'm being quiet. I'm like whispering because I guess I was afraid I was going to drop it. So, I love the light table, but I know some of you guys don't have a light table in your classroom. So this is a light, it's actually a tracing pad for like, there's like a little thing, but there we go, even brighter. So I wanted to show you guys the tracing pad. I'm like glowing in the video. So it's just a little tracing pad. This one is the bigger one. It's like 11 by something, but there's also like a paper size as well. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do shadow shapes for Groundhog Day. So I have my little cup of shapes, my little translucent shape manipulatives. I got those off Amazon. I'm gonna turn it down one though, so it's not so bright. Okay, so I laminated some black tissue paper, and then I cut, well now you probably won't be able to see how pretty it is. You can cut out the shapes to match. So I just cut out a whole bunch of different shapes. Well, actually not a whole bunch. I cut out the shapes that I had in my manipulatives, so that way we could match them up. Now, when I did it on the light table, see how this one kind of doesn't fit as much, but you could do smaller ones. On the big light table, I did 2 of each shape. So I had like a small triangle and a little triangle. I had like a small trapezoid, little trapezoid. Again, I had 2 of each shape, but this one is smaller and it doesn't fit. Maybe you're gonna have the big shapes on this tracing or this light table tracing pad, and maybe you have it on another one next to it. Then you can have the small ones over there, and basically all they're gonna do is they are going to say the shape and match. Oh, forgot that one. Matched up. And I love laminating tissue paper because it's a really cheap way to make fun light table. Oh my gosh, those are not, that's the square. Need to go back to preschool today. You can make really fun games based on your learning theme, and you don't have to spend like a bunch of money. It's great. Again, just super, super simple. We are just matching shapes, and you can just call them shape shadows. So it's so fun. And again, you can, maybe you're not doing groundhogs, maybe you're doing spring, make all of them, cut out, laminate some green tissue paper, make them all green, and you can do grass shapes, and they can match all the grass shapes. So again, super, super fun and easy. And I wanted to show you guys this light pad that I had, because I know some of you guys either don't have a light table in your classroom, maybe they're very expensive, I think, the light tables, like a good one, or because this I think was like 30 bucks on Amazon. So, and it's also smaller, so it doesn't take up as much space. So you could have this at like a little table or a desk that you have in your classroom, and you're ready to go. And then it turns off. So how fun is that? I have a little note to remind me that I had the light table behind me. Otherwise, I would have forgotten it. See, and then you can put it away. So if you're short on space in your classroom, use one of those tracing pads. Super, super great. And I have it linked in my Amazon storefront. Oh, and I always, I put this out. So if you have the tracing pad, you can just like put it like underneath it, behind it. You can stand it up, whatever you want to do. So this one is some groundhog patterns. So we are making, you can either do shadow, cloud, and a sun. So cloud, cloud, shadow, shadow, cloud, cloud, shadow, shadow, cloud, cloud. And then there's also blank strips, so that way they can make their own. So again, super, super fun, easy pattern activity for your kiddos. And you just grab some pom-poms. If you don't have pom-poms, grab cubes, grab whatever manipulative you have, little Legos, whatever works. And now you can do some fun groundhog patterns. Oh, here's the other shape activity I had. So we have this light table shape activity, but we also have these little clip cards. So you can take your little groundhogs, and then they're just gonna clip it on, and they're gonna clip on the matching shape. Simple, easy, and then again, super great fine motor when they're opening and closing these. So that's math. Well, actually I have one math that's also blocks. So that's next. You ready? Oh, and I have science. Okay. All right. So we'll do blocks first because it's also math. So I don't know about you, but I don't have a bunch of like little groundhogs. I don't have those for the block center. So what I did was I made a little building challenge that you can use for the block center for groundhogs. And you can also practice prepositional words. So I have just some blocks. I have tubes, which are cardboard tubes, and then I have some felts. This is like a starchy felt, so it's a little bit stronger. Now, if you have this in the block center, you can literally, wherever you put your STEM challenge up, put these cards up. And we have like on top, outside, behind, through, around, next to, so you can hang those up. And then students will build their, I had one built, but it fell. But they can build, and again, you can do this in your STEM center, you can do it in your math center, you can do it in your block center with bigger blocks. But like I said, I don't have a bunch of groundhogs. So I made a whole bunch of little groundhogs figures for you. You can also cut them out and put them on, like tape them to a block if you would want. Oh, I just knocked over my building. Or my burrow, sorry, my burrow. So you got a little groundhog, and you can say like this one is on top, or maybe you're doing it for a small group and say, okay, everybody put it behind. Put your groundhog behind, and they have to move it behind. Put it in between something, and so now it's in between the sides. Make your groundhog go over, over. Make your groundhog outside. It is outside. Make it go through, and you can like, you know, maybe they're gonna go, oh my gosh, mine can't go through because there's a wall. Well, that is perfect because now they know what that word means. And say, that's okay. If you don't have an escape in the back, that's okay for your groundhog. Put it in front of, and they can put it in front of. Positional words are tricky, and they're not usually the most exciting thing to teach, but I figured with these little groundhog guys, or you could also use like the mini erasers too. Like super fun and cute. And these are just Jenga blocks. I love using Jenga blocks for like smaller STEM challenges. Really fun, or if you use STEM drawers, you can put these in. Again, easy, fun, and simple, and low prep. Oh, and it does come with a worksheet and a blueprint page, so they can draw their burrow and then take their picture, and they can put their picture of their burrow in the corner. Now, for science, I don't have a groundhog unit, but I usually do shadows. So set it up and says, can you create a shadow? Put out some flashlights and some big animal figures with like funny things. And then I always like to put out like the sun. You can put out like some sun. I have little fun facts for all the teachers and the adults in your classroom. And then there's also a shadow vocabulary card. And then they can just practice making, I forgot to bring my animals over here for you guys, but they can use the flashlight and make the different shadows. Here, we'll just use this Play-Doh container. So they can practice making the different shadows. They can practice making it move by moving the light source, which would be their sun. And then they can also sketch it. And you can put in some books about shadows. So yeah, so put this in your science center for groundhogs because it's really, really fun. And again, if you don't have flashlights, puck lights work too. So, and make sure whatever flashlights or lights you use, they don't have button batteries because if a kiddo swallows one of those, that's very, very dangerous. But all of this, if you want all the printables to go with all the shadows, that's in my space, sun, and moon science unit. So grab all that in there. Now, last but not least, I want to show you my writing center. So you guys are going to come with me. Hold on. Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me make sure I don't fall on all the things because, hold on, let me show you guys. All the stuff I showed you guys is everywhere. So that's why when I say I drop things, I really do because I have stuff everywhere. Okay. Let me show you the writing center. Are you ready? Okay, so here it is. So we have our vocabulary cards up at the top. And then I usually, if I have uppercase, I usually stack them right here, but I showed you that for another activity. And then since I am a preschool, I have multi-age well, I'm not teaching this year, but I had 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, I would always just do the half sheet pieces of paper. And then any like letter card, you could also put the number cards here. This is also in that pack, but they can just grab it and write it with the dry erase marker, or you can put a little thing of Play-Doh there. And then I also, if you have any like letter tracing pages, grab those and put those in your writing center too and put them in a dry erase packet so they can practice their letters that way. And then since, groundhogs in their shadows, I just have some black paper and some chalk so they can write write on the black paper with the chalk. Again, just adding different media for students to use is really, really fun. Now, my unit also comes with other paper. So if you teach kinder and you need like a lined or a dotted paper, that's in there for you too. And there's also a full page of all the different designs. So that is the Writing Center. So I hope you guys loved all of, hold on, really right by the light. So I hope you guys loved all of the different groundhog activities. Again, all the printables are in the Groundhog Math and Literacy Centers unit. And then the science is in the space, sun and moon unit. So if you want those, go ahead and grab them. If you have any questions, I will pop back in and answer all of those after I'm done. And if not, you guys have an amazing day and a happy Groundhog Day. Hopefully for me, we get spring soon because I am not a winter girl and I live in Missouri and it's freezing. So hopefully we get spring. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.